had a girl, or should I say, she once had me. She showed me a room, isn't it good, Norwegian Wood. She asked me to stay and she told me to sit and work. So I looked around and I noticed there wasn't a chair. I sat on a rug, biding my time, drinking a wine. We talked until 2, and then she said, it's time for bed. She told me she worked in the morning and started to laugh. I told her I didn't and crawled off to sleep in the bath. And when I awoke, I was alone. This girl had flown. So I lit a fire. Isn't it good, Norwegian Wood?
Yay, if I had multiple hands. Oh, but I've only got my own. Oh, that was wonderful. Ian Thompson, live in the studio, playing a 12-string. Is it more difficult playing a 12-string?
No, it's the same. It's just more difficult to tune.
Yeah, as we noticed
and
earlier.
restring it. It takes a while.
It's far too many strings. It's too expensive, too expensive. You are, as we know, a massive Beatles fan. We've talked about this before, and of course you do have the band on the go, Manx Called Mystery Tour. Do you remember when you first heard the Beatles?
Yeah, I was probably about 4. I always remember Oh Bloody Bladder getting played a lot, because in the 70s we had them 2 albums, the blue album, the red one. There was the younger Beatles and then the older Beatles one, and everyone seemed to have them in the 70s. They must have got released in the early 70s. So Oh Bloody, I loved that one, and then that was it from that first song. Everything I heard by them I just loved, and it felt very familiar.
Yeah,
I've never found a band that comes anywhere near them for me.
Well, what always amazes me is the variety of music they produced
Yeah.
in an unbelievably short amount of time.
Yeah, it's the volume that of songs, good songs they produced that stands out, I think, amongst the other groups. There's been lots of bands with great songs, but it's the volume of great songs. That's why they get compared to these people in the past, like Beethoven and wherever.
Yeah, so it's kind of bonkers what they achieved, really, isn't it? And dare I ask, do you have a favourite Beatle? Because it always changes, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's probably something like Yesterday or Let It Be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been my favourites, I think. But
They're epic,
so
aren't
many,
they?
isn't
They are epic. And are you a George or a Paul man or a John man or a Ringo man?
More influence of Paul McCartney, because I loved the bass when I was a kid. And
Yeah.
I had a high voice like him, so I kind of imitated him. As I got older, I started getting more towards John Lennon then, because I started appreciating more what John Lennon had to say, So, yeah, but I love them all, to be honest.
Yeah, they're all ace. Have you watched the extremely long footage that is available now? It's called Get Back, isn't it, I think, all of that
I've watched
footage.
it, yeah. And, some really interesting moments on it. But I didn't like it as much as some people. To me, there was a lot of messing about on it, like kept playing the same stuff over and over. And for the first time ever, I thought, I actually don't want to be in that band. All my life I've said I wanted to be in that band, and watching that, I thought, I don't want to be in that band. They were getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
Well, they just look scruffy and like they just come to the end of, to me it seemed like you could see it was the end and they were drained. I felt they looked old. Quite old for young men.
And they just constantly looked a little bit upset with each other, didn't they, all the way through?
Yeah, it was just something like a negative energy there, because they were always so up and great and polished, weren't they? And suddenly
Yeah.
you were seeing the real deal, I suppose, what human beings are really like.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's a fascinating thing. I have to
Fascinating,
admit,
yeah.
I didn't watch it from start to finish. I kind of started the first one, watched some of that, and then sort of dipped in. I don't know if I could do it as a whole thing, but it is fascinating to see, though, that sort of behind the scenes on The Boys, really. So I'm assuming you would say, and I know we've talked about this before, but it has been some time. I assume you would say that the Boys, the Fab Four, have maybe influenced your own writing a little bit, have they?
Definitely, yeah. Them, and also my older brother Jimmy, because he's 13 years older than me, but he was playing guitar when I was a kid, so he'd be like singing us to sleep as kids, you know. When we were like 5
and
or
you
6.
work together, don't you, on the music?
Yeah, and he was so desperate to have someone to play with him. He was trying to teach me the bass at the age of 4, and he was going, just do this. He was that desperate, like. So I had a guitar in my hand from the age of 4, really 5, and then obviously when I was about 10, I took it more serious. So yeah, and he was writing his own songs then, and I was a big fan of his. Even then, I used to love his songs. And then it just hit me one day, maybe I should have a go. And they start off awful, don't they? But everyone tells you they're great because you're a kid.
So you're not one of those guys who still plays your first song you wrote in your set now, then?
Oh, no. No, I'd be very embarrassed.
Well, we're going to hear one of your singles, which is excellent. I was trying to work out when this is from. 2018, again, like you said, this is one of those moments where you realise we have been robbed of time.
Oh, yeah.
Because it feels like yesterday, really, when you sent this through. It's Hold On To Your Mind. Tell us a little bit about it before we hear it then.
Again, this is another song that me and our Jimmy wrote quite a few years back. And it's just about, the world that we live in is so crazy, and people now, it's just, I don't know about you, but I just feel like everything's insane, You can't say this, you can't say that. People have become stifled. You could lose your job over one wrong word. And I just don't think it's good at all. So that song is all about the hold on to your mind, let's stop all this nonsense. That's all it's about. It's just a bit of a ranty song.
Wise words from Ian Thompson.